Bitcoin Live today on Friday. Kind of unusual, but we have an amazing guest in the show. Welcome to Bitcoin Live, Burdy.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. We're going to talk about ZionLion or Zion Labs, which is a very interesting NFT project with a lot of additional features to it, a lot of utility. But before we jump into that, can you sort of introduce yourself to the public?
Of course. So I go by Burdy. A lot of people know me as Senor Burdy. I have been an integral part of the ecosystem for about maybe 2.5 years now. We started off the project as Rastafari. The Rastafarian roots have kind of grown into what is now Zion Royal. Currently, you can find us at Zion Labs. There is a bit of an evolution going on with the ecosystem, but I'm a tech entrepreneur. I've been in tech for a very long time, and specifically in cryptocurrencies since about 2013. I have experimented with a number of technologies, which has culminated into the work that we do now under the Zion brand. It's a series of exciting utilities, experiments, projects, and we have lots to talk about today. But that's a very brief introduction on who I am and what I do.
So you have some experience in the field. That's really good to know.
I do.
And so why the Rastafari? I mean, why the Zion Lions? What is the idea behind it?
I think that's a great question. Well, the Rastafarian culture has been one that's been, very influential for me in my personal life, and I think a number of our core members feel the same way. We have about 10 people now working actively on the project, and a lot of them feel the same way that I do. Pardon me. In terms of why Rasta or why even Zion, the answer was quite simple. I think for a lot of us, cryptocurrency presents this opportunity of decentralization, or the possibility of a future where we're in more control of our funds, and we're in more control of how those funds are allocated. The one for all and all for one principle is what we founded Rastafari on, and the premise was that we would build a financial ecosystem completely decentralized and pretty much off the grid, but that this would eventually lead us to Zion, which is the entire premise of the project. It's this state where we can all coexist, where we're all prosperous, where we're all satisfied and happy, and I think a lot of people in crypto have that dream. I don't want to say pipe dream. Maybe that's a little sad. But, a lot of people have that dream in crypto, I think, where they feel more empowered as opposed to centralized entities.
True. And there's a lot of pushback, of course, coming from centralized of authorities at the moment. So I really hope that these kind of projects and projects like yours will succeed. It kind of also reminds me of the Matrix, right? Zion. The place where the people can be free, so we can escape the matrix, hopefully.
That's right. And it's never easy, and there is always pushback, and which is why I think the Rastafarian culture helped us in cultivating the great demographic that we have. We have a group of I don't want to say deserters, but definitely revolutionists that are willing to be outcasts, just like the crypto industry is being now, pushed aside and trying to be silenced or regulated. But the fight for freedom is rarely an easy path. And that's what we have always identified the path to Zion as. It's this arduous yet difficult but extremely worthy path that's worth pursuing.
Yeah, so let's dive into the project. I got it open. You can also share it, but I got the website here. So Zion Labs, and
yes,
it is all about utility on Web3. Can you tell us, because it's more than just nice pictures? I mean, the lines look super cool, of course, but
that's right.
I think we can do a lot of stuff with it.
Of course. So I'll give you a bit of a kind of like the evolutionary timeline. You know, with Rasta Finance, we built a DEX, a decentralized exchange, for those that don't know. And our aim here was to really be the stewards of the token, the financial ecosystem, staking technologies, you know, the proof of stake methods, to master those. And with Zion Labs, which has been, you know, about a year, we've been called Zion Labs. And it's this experimental phase where we built even more technologies. You know, we built a bulk NFT sending tool. We built, you know, new locked pools that we thought were non-existent on the market. And with it came this new collection of the Zion Lions. And the Zion Lions are essentially an NFT collection, but it's an asset class. You know, there's 6,200 of them. Truly unique collection, all made by hand. And this was to really obviously capitalize on the NFT frenzy that a lot of people in the crypto space have been experiencing, but to also use this asset to build the utilities around it. If you happen to go to staking on the left sidebar, Nick, and underneath it, you will find a few options, but Zion Lion staking. So this particular pool, and if you scroll up, you'll see a few other pools, but this particular pool requires that you have 10 explorers. Once you have 10 explorers, you're allowed to stake your tokens for a supercharged reward outcome. The other pools are a little bit different. The construction pool is like this ongoing project where you lock your NFTs for a while, but you can still harvest the benefits. And the Explorer Training Academy is somewhat similar. And we also have a farmer's flip game, which is on the left side as well, right underneath the staking module. If you click that.
Cool. Oh, wait. The wrong one. Okay, wait. There we go.
Yeah, let's see. You're almost there. I think you have to click the actual text.
Yeah, wait. It opens in a new window. Wait, I have to.
Okay, I see.
That's the problem. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So in this game, let's say you know, the collection has 4 different tiers, right? We have the you know, we have the farmers, which is the backbone of the society of Zion. We have the explorers that really are the venturers of this collection. We have the builders that are one of the top asset categories within the collection, and then the professors, which are highly rare. So in this flip game, if you happen to have a certain amount of farmers and you want to upgrade them, if you will, we have integrated it with Chainlink to use a truly random number generator. And it's essentially like flipping a coin, and you can upgrade your tokens. And we're actually working on a version of this for the other categories as well. But everything that you've seen under the Zion Labs umbrella is a series of experimentations in you know, becoming masters of Web3, of blockchain integration into Web3 specifically, issuing new asset classes and finding utilities for them. And all of this is what's leading to now what we call the Zion Royal phase, which is kind of like the next step of our evolution. The brand will become Zion Royal, and we will actually even have an upgraded token that will bring some additional functions that we haven't really seen on the market.
Yeah, because you also have the token Rasta. Is that the one that you're referring to right now, or is there another token?
That's right. So we have two tokens. Rasta is the main token. It is what fuels the ecosystem, and we have a secondary token called the M Rasta. And the M Rasta is it's, you know, entirely dedicated to our efforts in the music industry, and it comes from Music Rasta. So what we're working on now is an upgrade for both of those tokens. The Rasta will become Zion. That's going to be the new token name. M Rasta will become Sound, and it will be entirely focused on the musical component. If you happen to click, let's see, the Launchpad, where on the left sidebar menu, you'll get a little look into our musical activities as well.
Shall I also show the Rasta BNB swap line? It might also be.
That's right. Yeah, we also have a swap line on
Yeah.
our website as well. Exactly. You can easily convert your tokens.
Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about your website, it's very user friendly. I mean, this is a project that sort of covers all bases, which is kind of unusual, right? Because most projects either focus on a certain section, but I think you cover almost everything, which is really nice. And to have it all in one comprehensive website is, yeah, it's quite an achievement. So
It's been a long work in progress, and I think in crypto there's a lot of people that get excited and they come in and they say, hey, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it really well.
Yeah,
and they may or not succeed. That's totally circumstantial, but what we're trying to do is cultivate the trustworthiness and the honesty we have since the very start, but to become masters at what we do and to understand each component of the blockchain to the best of our ability. Because if crypto is the next frontier, if cryptocurrencies will become the new method of financial interaction, then the best thing we can do today, while everything is so volatile, is to learn and to be better and to grow. And that's been our aim entirely. I mean, this project is fully self-funded by our core members. We're essentially a nonprofit, but it's really a long-term initiative. And if you click on the launch pad on the left sidebar, I'll talk a little bit about that.
I'm gonna do it now. I was trying to open it earlier. I got the launch pad over here, and then home, marketplace, or Ragadat Chris.
You can go at Chris.
Yeah.
It might open in a new link for you as well.
That wasn't opening on my side. So maybe it opened on your side?
Let me try on my side. Yeah, it opened. I'll just share my screen.
Okay, yep.
See window.
But yeah, you have been working on it a long time, and it's coming to fruition.
You can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's so this, since day one, I think our aim was to enter the music space. Music is a passion of mine, and a few of our core members are actually music artists. So a lot of people are doing crypto, but crypto and what is the real important question? And for us, that is clearly music. About a year ago, we did a launch for Ragadat Chris. He's a Pacific Island artist, of course, a reggae artist, an island style artist. Cool. And our aim was to use the MRasta, which is the MRasta is a closed economy, if you will. It relies entirely on the Rasta, and it's less susceptible to outside influences and fluctuations. The MRasta allowed us to build what we call the artist economy. Mm-hmm. Imagine, if you will, I am an artist, and I want to monetize my music. I have a few options. Back in the day, I could release a CD with a label and a distributor, and I might get about 5% of the CD sales. Yeah. Fair enough, not a lot of money, but the way I would make money then is to go and perform different concerts, different venues, and that's how I generate my money. Down the line, now artists can distribute their own songs. Now I can make a beat, I can distribute it. It can be available for streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, but the proceeds are still little. And it takes about 3 months for the distributions to be paid out to me as the artist. What that creates is still this ecosystem where I have to rely on musical performances to generate money. But if I'm an independent artist living on a Pacific Island nation, that's very limited unless I have the ability to go and travel to the rest of the world. So with the Launchpad, our aim is a suite of tools, not just one, that works around the artist and allows the artist to commercialize themselves. So if I'm an artist and I want to release a song, I put it out there and it's available for sale in every part of the world where the proceeds can reach me directly instantly. That's what Web3 allows. So that's what we're trying to make happen for the artists. With the MRASTA artist economy, what we're trying to do is convince these artists or explain to them why exchanging their music or services for MRASTA is a better choice than to do it for the dollar. Because the dollar is potentially decreasing, right? It is inflationary. The MRASTA is completely deflationary. There's only 600,000 of them. And we actually have a white paper where you can see the emission schedule over 8 years of the token. But as more artists join and as they offer their services and music for MRASTA, they are building an economy of their own that only grows in value over time with the new demand that comes into the ecosystem. And this creates kind of like this fenced area where the artists can prosper. So with the Launchpad, sorry for dragging on a little bit
no
long,
problem.
but with the Launchpad, our aim, this was a proof of concept that we did with Chris. So he had 3 NFTs that were available for sale at different prices. And just to note, all of these sold out in 15 minutes. We were hoping for maybe a 2-month period of seeing what the demand would be, but they were all gone in 15 minutes. But let's say I were to buy Melody, and Melody would have its own, in this case, this was a video NFT, but it could be a music NFT. It could be any kind of NFT that you see currently on the market. And if I were to buy this, then I can support the artists. And what that means is I made this investment into the artist. I believe in the artist. The last thing I want to do is to sell this, get my money back, let's say. In that case, what I would do is I would go to the artist's specific page. So this is Chris's page. This is where I can listen to Chris's music. Chris has a few songs uploaded here. I can buy were available for sale, but I can also stake them, and I can earn an APR. And what that is I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to asset it, and that way, new value is being created. Only believe in and the work. We have a 2 coming out fairly soon. If you will, Zion Royal is a web creative house. We're creating all sorts of technologies. The Launchpad, the Zion Launchpad, is this music hub, so that they can be independent and can generate money of their own.
Yeah, I think you can close the share screen because it sort of takes up a little bit of the bandwidth. we were kind of losing you there for a little bit, but I think you're back. Yeah, so it's really comprehensive, and it sort of incentivizes the people to stay with the artist and to profit along with the artist to sort of create additional inflow into your ecosystem, of course. So I guess as a project like yours, which is very comprehensive and very elaborate, I think sort of the biggest challenge is, of course, making yourself visible and the competition out there. So how do you deal with those 2 sort of factors?
I can start with the second one. Competition, I'm a dozen. There's so many of them, claiming to do music, not by a long shot, do that. Perfectly fine, but we can't focus on what they're doing. And we always believed in carving out a niche for ourselves. The Zion brand is already, it's an acquired taste. Not a smoking lion and says, wow, this is totally like me, so that being said, we focus on our data, and that's what we specialize on. To go back to the point, we have been invisible, and
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but
see if I can refresh my connection.
yeah, maybe if you sign back in, then that sometimes helps. So I'll cover the base here while you're gone. You can use the same link to sign back in, because I think the connection is now almost entirely gone. Yeah, so there he's back again. Hi, Burdy.
Hey,
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, you were really breaking up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Good
that.
to have you back. No problem.
And the visibility is extremely important, Nick. And I think there's some projects out there that do a lot of marketing, and they get a lot of notoriety, and they get a lot of volume, and there's millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's wonderful. But it's also very scary, and it's also very risky. One of our biggest blessings, I think, has been our size. Everyone makes mistakes. No one is perfect. Technology fails, money gets drained, or something happens. This could be to the tune of millions of dollars, or it could be to the tune of thousands of dollars, or even dollars. For us, the fact that the last 2 years has been spent kind of in hiding, or we're low key, has been a big blessing, because every time something went wrong, we could minimize the effect and the impact. We have seen plenty of examples of companies that have lost millions of dollars, and once that happens, it's game over. It's very hard to recover from that. That being said, I think as we become more confident in the robustness of our technology, we are increasing that spread, and a lot of people speak for it. We have people that are tuned into this right now that have been with us for 2 years, that will swear by us, which is so hard in crypto, because you're always chasing the next high, or the next moonshot, or the next big thing. But it's like, we don't need to create hype to let people know that we are the next big thing. We'll let them see it on their own.
Yeah, the best thing is just to keep building, even in. I mean, you just went through a very intense bear market, right? I mean, it's the worst bear market I've ever experienced. It seems, I think there was one that was perhaps even worse in 2013. But I think if you survive something like that, a project like yours, and you just keep building and keep adding value to your project, I think that's adds up to what you say, like that this is sort of a sign of approval and of market confidence, right?
Totally, because it's easy. We all hide behind pseudonyms to a certain extent, but it's easy to be like, oh well, today it's this, and tomorrow it's that, and the next day it's this other thing. But ever since I've been in crypto, all of my effort has went into Zion, and I know for a fact that we're going to keep building, even if the bear market continues for another 2 years. We're going to
Let's hope not.
I hope not either. But even if it were to, we would keep building, because we believe in the final vision of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, no, but on the plus side, probably the bear market very likely is over.
Yes.
I mean, I should, keep my fingers crossed, right? I mean, the general market looks like total crap. So who knows? It might pull it under again. But with the market looking actually pretty good at the moment, and on the point of really breaking out, what are the prospects for your project?
And that's a great question. Well, everyone knows that when it's a bull market, it's easier to build. You have more money to spend, as opposed to having none during a bear market. I think, there's a lot of interesting things happening in the world, and I won't go into politics at all. But we are seeing a decrease in the reliance of centralized fiat systems, which is as to be expected. And, I don't want to say third world countries, but non-primarily Western reliant countries are experimenting with cryptocurrencies. So for us, this is deeply exciting. If and when the bull market comes, this creates a huge opportunity for us, because people will come, they will see that we've been around. We have plenty of people that can vouch for what we do. And at that point, we would ramp up our activities and boost our marketing efforts, and bring on the users that we know we will get. And this is kind of maybe my personal opinion, maybe my experience, but you can have two types of people in your demographic when you're in a crypto project, and you most likely have one. That one is the people that really want this to be a moonshot, people that really want this to go to 10x and more, which is great, but there's no loyalty there. They will leave you the next day when you don't give them that, or someone else gives them the potential of it.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, which I've had the blessing of seeing in our own community, are people that believe, that people that belong, and the people that are loyal, and they don't care what the value has been. They know what's going on, and they want to be a part of it. What we want to focus on, especially in the next bull market, is the expansion of that demographic. Mm-hmm. We don't need to be anyone's moonshot or anyone's savior, but we intend to be. We intend to be that, only to those that really do believe in us.
So this might create a nice bridge to your community, because I think you do have a very vibrant and enthusiastic community. Can you tell us a little bit about your demographics and about their enthusiasm and commitment?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I think in the beginning you would see a lot of people that were smokers, but I myself, I'm a big fan of the plant, and so
a laid back community.
Sorry.
Engaged but laid back.
Exactly. Engaged but laid back community. That's exactly what it was. Because, you can go into a TG chat, and I know you know all about this, and it can be, all sorts of memes flying around, and let's go, moon, pump. We never had any of that. Everyone was relaxed. Everyone was on island time, and, everyone's laid back, and I think that's been our primary demographic. If you look for the common denominator, it's people that are relaxed, maybe a little bit more calm. They still love crypto. They still do their investments, but they are not emotionally driven. They are amazing. That's all I can say. And I think they're all over the world. We have people in Canada, the United States, the Pacific Islands, Oceania, Far East Asia, Indonesia. It's they're truly from all over the world. And that's definitely the common denominator. They are laid back and trusting and calm.
Oh, that's a really nice combination. I mean, that's the kind of community you want, of course. Is there anything that we sort of missed out in this conversation that you want to highlight? A feature of the project, or maybe I should rephrase that. What sort of what makes you most excited about the project?
I think, as with any these ebbs and flows, it sometimes it's really good. Shout out to the Indonesians in the chat. So much love for Indonesia. Half of our team is in Bali. We're deeply rooted in Bali, and the beliefs they have over there as well. So big
shout out. Very relaxed country.
Totally. It's anywhere where there's an island, there's no rush. There's no angst and rush and stress and pressure, which is the opposite of what we are. I think for us, building a company, there is these ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's really not that good, and sometimes it's really wonderful. for us, what excites me the most is that we are still going despite those ebbs and flows. And with Zion Royal, there's really going to be a big change that's going to take place for us. It is an upgrading of the ecosystem, the name. Brand new tokens have been deployed, and we have shared the contracts with our community as well, so that they can review it before we do the migration process. For those that are listening, the migration process will take place entirely on the app. There's no airdropping, there's no sending, there's no fake scam groups, which is very common. Everything is done on our app, everything. So
Nice.
That's what excites me a lot, because this is going to be a brand new era for us, new economics, new technologies, new functions, new collections that are going to be coming out as well. But one thing that we haven't spoken a lot about is, and this is probably the first time I'm mentioning it publicly, and just for you, Nick, is our partnership with a record label out of Miami. They are, I won't reveal the name now, but they are a deeply Caribbean and Afrobeats infused record label. They are based out of Miami. Most of their artists are from the islands. And our team has been working on a partnership with them for a very long time. And it seems like we finally entered the final stages where the agreements have been finished, but now the execution is taking place. So that is what's deeply exciting to me, because what this means is that when Zion Royal is established as a new brand, which is what we're actively working on right now, and a new bull market emerges, this partnership with the record label will be all we need in the short to medium term to create some incredible stuff. What you're likely to see are, in-house artists, artists that are Zion artists, creating content, doing performances, selling their merchandise, selling their goods. And, to go back to one of your earlier questions, what's so different about us than our competition? I could give you a list of names today of companies that onboard artists nonstop. They might have 1,000 artists, they might have 10,000 artists. I don't know. But one committed artist that is in a controlled way creating content and participating in the ecosystem is worth more than 1,000 passive artists.
True.
It's possibly easy to onboard an artist, but it's very hard to give them the tools, to educate them, to create. And that's what we're focusing on. So that's the most exciting thing that's on the horizon for us. It's this deeply rooted collaboration with this record label, the revamp of our brand, and the emergence of our technology with experience because of the mistakes that we've made. And we've made plenty, but we've learned. So if all of these come together the way we intend them to, it's going to be a very exciting time for all of our holders.
I can totally imagine, and congratulations with that. When can you sort of reveal which record label it is?
I think, maybe in the next couple weeks, once this migration is done and Zion Royal is fully established, I think we're going to be announcing the name, and it's, it's just really, really exciting. Because a lot of people say, well, are you guys only about reggae and only about island music? No, not necessarily, but it's our starting point. That's what's closest to home. So that's what that's where we're starting. I listen to a lot of electronic music. I make electronic music myself, but island music is what we want to broadcast to the world right now, because I think that's what the world needs.
Oh yeah, definitely. We could definitely use some laid back music and a laid back vibe.
That's right.
That could really help. And I think it's like your flagship, right? So it's really appropriate that you start there.
Exactly.
So that's a huge breakthrough, and I'm very happy to hear that for you guys. And,
Thank you.
And that will probably open the door to new ones, right? I mean, once the big ones get in, the other
Definitely.
ones will follow.
Definitely. I think a lot of music labels are wary because a lot of these NFT music projects popped up and they're making these wild claims and wild accusations. And just a little caveat for your listeners. An NFT is an asset class that needs to be maintained by those that issue it. It's not
Mhm.
just, oh, it's out there, now it's on its own. That's not the way it works. There's always some content that is hosted on the NFT. And if that server is not maintained, that asset is meaningless. It's worth zero, which I think we're seeing with a lot of the early NFT
Yeah.
projects because their yearly server subscriptions have run out. So that's super important for those that invest in NFTs to consider the longevity. Is this a project that's in it for the short-term funds and they're going to disappear? Or are they going to be with us all the way until forever, hopefully, because that's what the point of this is. And to be good stewards of this asset. So I think a lot of music labels are now more cautious. They're like, oh, well, is this just a scheme or whatever?
Yeah.
But once they see, hey, we have this carefully cultivated relationship with this record label. Here is our track record. Here is what we have accomplished. Here is what we intend to do. And this is a 10-year plan at the least. I think they're going to come around.
Yeah, and I think to speak to the server issue, right? You can also decentralize those servers, right? I mean, that will also happen with most of these projects, and that will make them more robust
Totally.
over time.
Totally. But if there's a lot of people that don't care about that, when they're launching.
Too little, yeah, too few. It's a shame. Yeah, like you said, they're mostly in it for the money.
They are.
And yeah. But of course, Bitcoin is the most decentralized with the ordinals. Are you also sort of considering different chains in the future, or are you stuck? No, stuck is not the right word, but committed to one chain.
I think no, we've always considered different chains. We chose Binance because it was the least risky for us. If you look at the variables, there was enough things behind Binance that made it attractive to us. A company that had active goals with real investors behind the institution. Major marketing efforts in upcoming countries where crypto was more widespread. A smart chain attached to that ecosystem, which is the BNB's smart chain, and something else that I can't remember right now. But this is what made it lucrative for us to focus solely on BNB. But luckily, with all EVM chains, you could easily go any other route. And there are a few instances where we dipped our toe into this pool, and then we pulled back, and it was a good move. So we're always ready for it, but we haven't had the opportunity to say, hey, this is a good time. This is a good opportunity. Let's go to another chain right now. Like, we haven't had that aha moment yet. But it's definitely something we're capable of and can do if we needed to.
Yeah, and within crypto, to stay with the island metaphor, right? There's a lot of these islands, but over time they will be completely interoperable. I mean, that is clearly where things are heading. And I think choosing for Binance, despite what people might think or say, it is one of the most robust, biggest exchanges companies out there that I often consider it as like the next Amazon.
Yeah,
I think it's not going anywhere. So. And it's
totally.
fast, it's easy to use. But maybe something you could sort of highlight is because many people might not be that familiar with NFTs on Binance, right? I mean, because they have been around quite a while. But, most people are more familiar with Ethereum or with Solana or, Tesos, whatever. But Binance has also a track record when it comes to NFTs, right?
Totally. And what I rarely understand is why Ethereum is still the go-to for NFTs.
It's kind of expensive.
It's so expensive, and just to send something to another address or to move it is a huge ordeal. What we love about the Binance Smart Chain is the low transaction fees, for sure. I mean, in addition to so that's the fourth point that I forgot. But it could cost you a few cents to send an NFT, or it could cost you a lot more than that. So with BSC, there's yeah, maybe there is less of a marketplace for, NFTs, unlike the one on Ethereum, but it's much less expensive to buy and stake. And that's the thing. Like, if we sell an NFT and you buy it, we want you to play with it. Like, we want you to, we want you to use it here. We want you to use it there. We want you to stake it. We want you to flip it. But if you're spending $10 or whatever amount of dollars it is that day on doing those activities, where is the material benefit? How much are you going to make?
Yeah. Well, one of the very sad things for many people, and I was also a little bit a victim of that, is you see all those nice tokens on Ethereum, and you think like, oh, buy a bag of that, buy a bag of that, and then suddenly the prices and the gas prices skyrocket, and then you make profit, but a lot of that profit goes back to paying gas fees. So that doesn't make, or you're completely stuck with your bag, right? That's also possible.
Yeah, I mean, you might reach a point where not, selling it isn't worth it. The gas fees. I think, we're going to reach it. The way I always explain it to people is that right now, crypto is a type of road. Okay. It's a road system. It's a highway system technology. You have different people, Binance, Ethereum, 10, 15, 20, 30 other people building highway systems. They're all building their own roads. People like us, at Zion, are like a gas station on that highway system. Not a gas station, maybe, but a mall, a shopping plaza, or a stadium. We're on that highway. And some people that are cross-chain build it between two highways, and it works or it doesn't. But down the line, in the future, these highways cannot be separate. Some of them will die. The ones that are most prevalent will be unified in a way that I may not be able to perceive right now. But that's the future, and it has to be that way. And the gas fees, they can't stay that long. And ideally, the higher a volume, lower the gas fees. Right now, it's the opposite. The more congestion, the more you pay. But down the line, ideally, because you're sharing the cost of infrastructure amongst millions and hopefully billions of people, that cost should become negligible.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to worry about gas when you're making a transaction. Otherwise, I mean, you're back to credit cards.
True. So maybe we can sort of end with sort of your future outlook for perhaps crypto as a whole and NFTs, and for ZionLab in particular.
That's beautiful. I would love to see a world where something like Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is used as a public ledger for governments. Right now, most governments, including Turkey, which is ethnically where I'm from, has a government that operates behind closed curtains. They print money as much as they want. They spend it however they please. No one really knows where that money goes and how it's spent. To me, that's unacceptable, and it's actually despicable. Because if you give someone the power to do something, odds are they're going to do it. With a public ledger, like a cryptocurrency, you can hold someone accountable. If I send you one Bitcoin today, Nick, and you say, hey, I'm the governor of Bitcoin Live. I'm gonna govern with one Bitcoin. I can see how you're governing. I can see where you're sending that money and where it's being used. That's exactly how it should be. I was a public servant. I have worked for government in the past. It is an honor to be able to serve the people of your country. But if you are a thief, and sometimes it's human nature, you have the power to do it, so you do it, and you can't blame them either. But with a public ledger, where I would love to see cryptocurrency being utilized the most is governance. Public money has to be public. There can be no other way for this to play out. So that's what I pray for, where governments can say, hey, public funds, public ledger, here you are, full transparency. For Zion Royal, on the other hand, a smaller degree of activity. We would love to see our brand become more notorious. We would love to see it everywhere. We have really cool stickers and really cool branding. We want to see our music artists, making music, selling their music, doing their performances, selling their merchandise, and generating revenue without limitations all over the world. That's my vision for Zion Royal. And I think that will lead to a point where you might catch a Zion event. We have a venue in Bali,
Cool.
also completely self-funded, not from project proceeds, but it's a Rasta bar in Bali, right on the water, on the beach. There's a stage set up, there's a bar set up. What I would love to see is, the Zion Royal artists performing there, people attending the event with their phone, spending with their devices, and creating this economy, this musical, beautiful, serendipitous economy based entirely on our ecosystem. I think that would be my Zion.
It sounds terrific, and I would love to see that bar. I would also love to get that Bitcoin and sort of test it out. Your face.
The moment I have it, I'll send it to you. But you're always welcome. If you ever come to Bali, you're more than welcome. Half our team is there. I'm in the United States right now, but half our team is there. And whenever you're there, you're our guest, and we would love to host you.
Thank you. And then one thing that you sort of mentioned before with the public ledger, it's kind of sort of ironic that the government say, like, we want the public ledger for the public, but we want the private ledger for ourselves, right?
Totally. Someone said it the other day. It said, we're private citizens not living private lives. They are public servants living very private lives. And it's completely out of balance. It's
exactly the wrong way around.
But it's the wrong way around.
Yeah.
If you are, sorry to drag on, but, if we live in the same house and we have 3 other roommates, and I say, Nick, you're the boss, or like, you're gonna govern this house, like, you take care of everything. We'll all give you a little bit of money, at the end of the month, but you're the guy. And the next thing you know, you build a little lock on your door. Next thing you know, your room has expanded. Maybe you knock down the wall of one of our roommates. Next thing you know, the food is in your room now, in your fridge. It's like, what the heck, Nick? We gave you the money to govern us, not to make yourself more comfortable. And that's what we're missing, I think, as a global collective. We have lost the notion of what a public servant needs to be. It's completely out of whack.
Yeah. To me, the most sort of powerful thing about Bitcoin is its forcing function. That you cannot force it to change its market cap, or you cannot force it to do anything you don't want it to do. Right? At the moment, it's still very volatile, of course, because it's speculative and it's emerging. So a big whale can move the price. But once it sort of gets established, it's almost impossible to make it do what you want to do it.
Yeah, and that's what we want, because to go back to the previous point, if you have the power, you might abuse it. If you don't have the power, you're less likely to. So if Bitcoin is powerful enough on its own that no one man or one government can influence it, then we can count on it.
Then we have this anchor, and then Zion can grow. I mean, then all these little projects can actually flourish, right? Because if people don't like it, they'll go back to Bitcoin. Right? So you have to behave, because otherwise.
Totally. You said it. This is what we rely on. There's some off roads or highways off of it. Ours is off Binance. Binance is off of Bitcoin. But if you don't like it, you go back. And the more you go back to the root, the trunk of the tree, the more solid it is.
Well, let's end with that. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I really hope that your project continues to grow, and you're welcome to, share it on Bitcoin Live. And if you want to come back, just hit us up, and love to come to Bali sometime.
Yes, you have to. Nick, it's been such a pleasure talking with you. I'm honored to have been here.
It was a pleasure. And with that, that's the end of the show. Take care, guys.